All right, so JAC. JAC stands for Jeskai Ascendancy combo. Today, we are trying out a couple copies of Teferi Time Raveler in the sideboard, which honestly, not only do we get to Glittering Wish this card, but notice I have multiple copies over here just because I think I want to board in at least one in the counterspell matchups. I honestly would not be surprised if this card's just better than having access to Silence, just because like you can play this card out proactively and it draws a card for you. So it's like an anti-counterspell card that also draws a card right away, which is sweet. So, and the counterspell matchups are like the second hardest, like blue-white draw, like the second hardest style of matchup for this archetype after the Thoughtseize Inquisition decks. There was some discussion yesterday about whether or not Green Black Citadel creature point where it's deterministic with Doom Whisperer, and I think it is. By surveilling 2, once you reach your last Gaia's Blessing, you bin your lands or tuck it under spells you want to cast. So the combo, you can combo even if you always shuffle Blessing to the top. You bin lands or tuck it under spells you want to cast, so you can combo even if interesting. I have to sit down and really think about that. And like actuality, it's probably so unlikely to occur that it's like not worth figuring out. It's likely what it is. Is there anything this deck picks up in Horizons? I don't think so. Like maybe this Botanical Sanctum becomes the blue-green cycle land. Like maybe. Yeah, I really don't think so. Let me double check the multicolored spoiler. I don't think anything really jumped out at me, though. No, I don't think there's anything in the spoiler that looks like it adds into this one, except for maybe that land. So this hand's quite a bit awkward. We have a Jeskai Ascendancy and a couple of lands, and I've got this Glittering Wish that I could technically cast off the Manamorphose, but like I don't have any cantrips, I don't have any mana creatures, so I think I'm gonna mulligan. Usually you want mana creature in the opener more than you want Ascendancy in the opener, because mana creatures like accelerate you into your cards that draw cards. Hey Hairball, thanks for sticking around. Alright. The Tron matchup for this deck is okay. Obviously, being on the draw is a little bit of a challenge for most decks against Tron if you're not killing them on turn 2. Silence is actually pretty reasonable in the Tron matchup just because, like, we can basically use this as a time walk. Like, during their upkeep on their third turn when they're going to have Tron, we just, like, silence them so they can't cast a spell and their deck doesn't really have instant speed interaction in the main deck. So they'll get to play a land for the turn when we silence them, but they won't get to do anything else, essentially. Lead on our Burb. Yeah, so if they go, like, second Tron piece pass, I'm probably casting Silence during their upkeep next turn. They missed on the second Tron piece, so not super worried about it. Nah, I think you just perfect. So that was the best draw on our deck. It means we are likely to kill our opponent next turn. I think you just don't want more 2-mana dorks, Chris. The fact that it gives windows to kill it means it's just not worth 2 mana. So for people not familiar with this deck, this is a very fringe combo deck in Modern. It's one that I've played a lot on stream, though. I think it's a lot of fun. This is like, I have to refer to this as the Thinking Person Storm deck. Just like, it's like kind of like Wacky Storm. So basically how we win is this card tax a draw discard onto every spell we cast while also untapping our creatures and drawing a card. Oh no, they have Walking Ballista? Oh no! Oh no. Well, that's unfortunate. So, this deck needs a mana creature in order to combo, because the way this makes us draw discard a card, or the way this makes our creatures untap, it basically gives us an unlimited amount of mana as we cycle through our deck and make our creatures larger. Glittering Wish. That's not really going to accomplish anything at this point, right? I guess it, like, technically gets Assassin's Trophy and I can cast it because of this Abundant Growth. I'm going to hold on to the Silence for now. Maybe I just should discard the Cerulean Wisps here just because I, So Dryad Arbor is like a creature you can get with your fetch lands, but I'm not really sure that it's worth playing because like you need Abundant Growth to pair with it, and I guess I'm playing this card anyways, but it just seems kind of narrow. And like Dryad Arbor is not a card that can replace a land in your deck, so basically you have to replace a spell with it, and I definitely don't think it's good enough to replace a spell with it. If I wanted to gamble, I could use this to Pact for a thing and then I could pay for it next turn, but I don't think that's where I'm at in my life. So I did actually put that card on the bottom. Since I've drawn this, is that now my line? It means if my opponent has like a card, I die, but if they have a card, I'm probably dying anyways, right? The problem is this potentially locks me out of being able to combo for 2 turns because I have to pay 4 mana next turn. And the problem is if I like play out this land after I pay the 4, there's a good chance that I won't have enough cards to combo. I think I'm supposed to do it. I feel like they might not have Tron next turn, but like the odds of them not having Tron for 2 more turns are like pretty low. If they have like another Walking Ballista here, I'm gonna lose the game, but I think this is a worthwhile gamble. Hey, Admiral. You have a sword, or you have a sword now, and you are always welcome here. I appreciate all the support you've given. Mods are still able to chat even when we're in sub-only mode. So, hopefully you'll still be around. Hope things are all right for you. Now, we're not incredibly likely to combo next turn, so we're going to be a little bit tight on mana and cards. We're going to get to draw a card for the turn, and then I have to play this land and fetch a Steam Vent, and then we'll get to start with like Cerulean with some Serum Visions. So maybe we'll be okay. But it's definitely going to be a little bit tight because I have to pay 4 mana for the Summoner's Pact. Opponent fumbling around here a little bit, but they are going to guarantee to have Tron mana next turn. So I'm glad that I went ahead and Summoner's Pacted here because my opponent is, like I said, they were unlikely to have Tron this turn and they didn't, but they're guaranteed to have Tron mana next turn. So making them have it here seems appealing. So I think I'm going to lead on Serum Visions here. And again, this is how we kind of get going. So every 1 mana spell I cast while this bird is in play is essentially free, because it generates 1 mana. I'd really like to draw a Summoner's Pact or cards like Cerulean Wisps to generate extra mana here. And then eventually I'm looking for Glittering Wish. Those are real bad, so let's bottom those. The actual combo turn in this deck takes a while to click through. So Cerulean Wisps here actually generates an extra mana, because when it resolves, it untaps my creature. So Cerulean Wisps, when we're comboing, gives us an additional source of mana, because this untaps my creature and this untaps it, which is nice. Yeah, that's true. Now that I've hit my second mana, Manamorphose also jumps us up a mana. Sylvan Caryatid is another brick. So I get 2 shots here. And again, this is the we're not quite sure if we're gonna win or not, because we need to hit into specific combinations of cards that we may or may not be able to find. These are like literally the perfects on top. These are both cards that give us additional mana, so sign me up. And the way this is going to work, Sleight of Hand looks at the top 2 cards of my deck. But if you'll note there, I left Cerulean Wisps on top of my deck. So what we're going to do here is we're going to draw the Cerulean Wisps, and then we're going to draw Cerulean Wisps. Then still in response to this, because I know there's a Manamorphose on top of my deck that I'd like to draw, I'm going to go ahead and do this and loot through this. Yeah, the fact that my opponent hasn't pressed their F6 hotkey yet is like, it's like, what are you doing over there? I need to float a mana here as well. And you can see as I pump up the jam here with all my creatures, I get to my Birds of Paradise is slowly growing larger and larger. Another Manamorphose is excellent. So let's go ahead and Morphose here. So Morphose is another card that nets us mana, because it takes 2 mana in, it untaps, and then it puts 2 mana out. So it makes a total of 3, basically. And we found a Glittering Wish here. So Glittering Wish likely means we're over the hump, so to speak. So there's 2 different bottlenecks when you're playing this deck. One bottleneck is the amount of cards you have access to, and the other bottleneck is the amount of mana you have access to. So this series of Manamorphose has kind of guaranteed that we have enough mana to keep going. And then this Glittering Wish here gets a Scarscale Ritual, which draws us 2 cards. At this point, I'm declining to loot because both the cards in my hand are good, and I don't really want to discard through cards that I want to keep. Whereas now I have this Gemstone Mine in my hand, which is a land, so I don't want to keep that. So we're gonna go ahead and loot through that, and we've hit just a plentiful Manamorphose here. Verdant Eidolon means that we're not going to run out of cards now. So Verdant Eidolon says whenever we cast a multicolored spell, if it's in a G-Goat, thank you for the 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Whenever we cast a multicolored spell, Verdant Eidolon comes back from our discard pile to our hand, and we've got a bunch of multicolored spells. And it's funny, at this point, I actually want to discard the Fatestitcher as opposed to the Eidolon, because the Fatestitcher allows me to win the game a little bit more quickly. So Verdant makes it just a draw effect. Yeah, for multicolored spells, it makes it just a straight draw effect. So I know when a lot of people say things like that, Calc, like they generally mean well, but messages like that, especially towards streamers, they tend to come across as a little bit rude. Because either like the person in question is like actually tired, in which case like needling them about it probably isn't the most pleasant thing to do, or like, you know, it's just first thing in the morning and I've been awake for like 45 minutes, most of which was spent chasing small children around. I'm also kind of focused at the moment because, well, I'm trying to click through a thing and not time out. My opponent's at 20. I have 13. I have exactly 20. All right, let's cast one more spell just in case. And when you don't have much hair, keeping it short is ideal. Hey, Chase. Thanks for the tier 1 resub. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday morning. Thanks for keeping me around. Rawr. It's been a while since I've done this. I'm a little bit slow. That took 9 minutes off my clock. Get that set up. So, when you're sideboarding with this deck, I think there's a sideboard guide on my website. I've written about this deck a number of times before. These are like the core of the cards that you sideboard. Engineered Explosive plus this main deck copy of Silence are like, these are like your cards that are interactive cards. So, post board in this deck, you basically have one of 3 packages. You have the Leyline of Sanctity package, which is obviously very good at stopping discard spells. You have the Destroy Hate-Based Permanents packages and Engineer Explosives, Astral Trophies, and Path to Exile. And then you have Silence and Teferi Time Raveler, which are an anti-counter spell package. Now, Tron doesn't have discard spells, counter spells, or really permanent-based hate a lot of the time. So, the card that I like in this matchup specifically, and this is what you bring in a lot of the other, like, combo and race matchups, is Silence. Because like I mentioned with the one copy of Silence that we drew in our main deck that first game, Silence is basically Time Walk against decks like Tron. You'll, like, cast it during their upkeep when they're going to assemble Tron, and they won't be able to cast a spell that turn. So it buys you another turn to untap and combo them. Hey, Gendy. Love the content and the discussions you provide. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate you keeping me around. I don't have a card lending service to recommend, but I will say that I've heard a lot of bad things about, what's the one? Mana Traders. Not a lot of good things about their customer service backend. Thanks for the 28 months, Bulletproof Pope. It is really good in response to packs out of Amulet Titan. Whoa, no turn 1 Tron piece. So, they snap, kept 7, and didn't have a turn 1 Tron piece. I think that likely indicates that they have like a Nature's Claim or some way to interact with enchantments. Do you have a way to play around Blast Zones? It seems like it would mess with Dork Slash. Yeah, kill them before they can charge it up. The answer to everything, the answer to how do you beat everything with this deck is just kill them faster. If you're playing this deck and you're looking at something, you go, that seems hard to beat. Just kill them before they can do it. We also do have copies of Assassin's Trophy in our sideboard, and another one of the reasons why I really like this deck is I talked about those sideboarding packages that we had in the board, and even if even if, like, let's say you mispredict what hate cards your opponent could have, and like my Tron opponent has like a Trinisphere, say for instance, well, my deck has Glittering Wish, so I still have access to Knights of Autumn and Assassin's Trophy post sideboard here, even though I didn't bring them in thanks to Glittering Wish. Yeah, this deck has Summoner's Pacts and Engineer Explosive that can let you win on turn 2, Nivik. Your turn 2 wins are like unlikely with this deck, but they're not impossible. I think I'm gonna lead on Sleight of Hand here. Silence is like actually relevant here. So, like I said, my opponent kept looks like a mediocre hand, and maybe they misclicked, but they also could very well have like a Nature's Claim here that they're going to hold up next turn. And if they're going to hold up a Nature's Claim next turn, I can silence them to guarantee that they're not going to be able to interact with me, which is nice. So, one of the things you'll notice if you're a first time looking at this deck list is there's only 3 copies of our Namesake card in the main deck, and that's because we have 4 copies of this Glittering Wish card that let us fetch Jeskai Ascendancy from the sideboard. So, we're not guaranteed to win here, but we're pretty likely to go off. If we bottleneck this game, we're going to bottleneck on cards available to us. And starting with 4 cards in hand means we're pretty likely to get there. I'm not going to bottleneck on mana because I have both Cerulean Wisps and a Fatestitcher here. So Fatestitcher is kind of like our instant speed way. Or Fatestitcher is like our way. Ooh, Verdant Eidolon's real good. So Fatestitcher is basically an instant a mana dork with haste, so to speak. Because it can be unearthed from the graveyard and also has synergy there with the way we discard cards. All right, so the Glittering Wish means that we're very improbable to brick from here. Because like I said, we have plenty of mana, which is one of the bottlenecks we could possibly have. And then Glittering Wish gets us a Scarscale Ritual, which basically guarantees we're going to have plenty of cards. This hand's like not amazing, but it's definitely in the range of keepable here. Like bird on 1 and some cantrips to cast is like fine, not amazing, but fine. Amulet Titan. You know, I haven't actually played this matchup a ton. When I was playing this deck a lot last year, Amulet Titan wasn't particularly popular. I really wish. One of my biggest complaints about the Moto interface is I really wish it would default searching your deck to a reasonable size window. Like, just try and maximize it. Hey, what's going on, -3 Karn? Good morning. Are we gonna get double amuleted? Yikes. Alright, well, we could die this turn. Welcome to Modern. Enjoy your stay. So if they have Azusa Titan, we're dead here. For those counting, this is their second turn. I took 1 turn. Please enjoy Modern. Yeah, one of the things we've talked about with Amulet Titan a lot of the times is that, like, the games where you have your amulets are, like, really good, sweet games and your deck's really powerful, but the games where you don't have amulet, your deck tends to, like, kind of flounder around. Although it looks like my opponent does not have a Titan, so that's good for us. And I have some time here to flop around with Serum Visions. So they have double amulet. And this is the other side of the coin, too, is, like, their deck is really good when it, like, has amulets, but then, like, there's also games where it just, like, has ramp deck problems. Bottom this, top this. So I am very probable to kill them next turn, right? So do I just silence them on upkeep in case they rip it? Yeah, I think we just upkeep silence because we're pretty likely to kill them. The Ascendancy on top. They created the sound of silence, wrote the book on hate. Somehow I'm still here to explain. I'm blanking on the lyrics past there. Something only comes in the night. You can sleep with a gun when you gotta wake up and fight. I think that's a new one for Marty. I think that's a new one for Marty to have to add to the playlist. Come on. Someone should tag him in Discord and let him know. Good morning, lyrics. It's fitting that you came in while we were singing a new song. Oh no. Oh no. Huh. So I'm gonna decline to search here because I think I can actually kill them next turn being down a land. Yeah, because the Pact lets us kill them on only 3 mana. We're slightly less likely to combo. Alright, and I don't have to worry about them. So, now my opponent messed up. So my opponent probably thought I was going to shuffle. So what they should have done is, they should have Vesuva to copy the Ghost Quarter. They should have Ghost Quartered Vesuva, copied Ghost Quarter, and Ghost Quartered me again, but that's not an option now. Yes, this is a Birds of Paradise. Yeah, we have a lot of our ideal tools to go off from low resources here. So you get to go, we're gonna go Gemstone Mine, play Ascendancy, Pact for Eidolon, discard Fatestitcher, bring back Fatestitcher. Yeah, they could theoretically have a piece of interaction here. A lot of most of these decks do not have main deck interaction from this point. Like post board, my opponent could have some interaction, but main deck they generally don't. And having 2 mana creatures in play here means I am incredibly unlikely to brick off from this point. I'm actually going to bottom that because I kind of just want to draw a bunch of things that draw more cards, and where Jeskai Ascendancy is technically... Oh, I guess with the Verdant Eidolon, Jeskai Ascendancy is not card negative. So yeah, that's a mistake. I forgot I had the Verdant Eidolon in my bin. It's probably fine. We probably have an embarrassment of riches, and it's going to be okay. I think this deck is both a lot of fun if you like playing combo decks like this, and it's very competitive. Manifest Destiny, thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub. Hope life is finding you well on this Tuesday. Thanks for keeping me around. What are we gonna sing? I mean, we don't. I don't know. I don't know is probably the correct answer. So I have a bunch of cards in my hand. I'm just gonna get. I'm not gonna. So one of the things that I like to kind of keep hidden if I can in this deck, because a lot of people aren't super familiar with this archetype, is the fact that we have a card that lets us kill outside of combat is something that can give you a leg up in some of the post-board games if people don't know it's coming. Yes, this was an incredibly long game of Modern. I didn't kill them till my turn 3. Like, both players got 3 turns. Just, like, incredibly long game. Alright, opponent conceded. Again, just like last time, so like, my opponent's kind of unlikely to have permanent base tape. They don't have discard spells. They will have some counter spells, which makes silence good. So I'm just going to go ahead and board out Engineered Explosives here, because while these could interact with their amulets, generally speaking, we just want to race in this matchup. These Engineered Explosives are more for removing hate pieces like, say, Thalia or Kitesail Freebooter or Meddling Mage, more than being able to interact with other combo decks. In general, against combo decks, we just want to silence them or race them by comboing faster. And our average Goldfish turn is definitely much faster than my opponent's average Goldfish turn. And again, if my opponent does happen to have a hate piece in their deck post board, we have access to things like Assassin's Trophy and Knight of Autumn with cards like Glittering Wish. Also, one thing that's kind of sweet too is my opponent might be overly aggressive with their Ghost Quarters this game because they Ghost Quartered me and I declined to search in that last game. They might assume I have no basics as opposed to thinking that I just didn't want to shuffle the Ascendancy on top of my deck. If you're not someone who likes keeping one-landers, this is definitely not the deck for you. This deck keeps a lot of one-landers between your mana dorks and your cards that draw more cards. Breeding Pool is generally our go-to first basic because it casts both Mana Dorks and cantrips. That's true. I mean, decks full of mana creatures tend to keep one-landers, right? Because their creatures are also lands, is basically what it comes down to. Alright, double Amulet 2 games in a row. Sure, seems good. So if they have Bounce Land Titan, we are dead next turn. We're looking for an Ascendancy here. So I'm going to top that. So Cerulean Wisps is technically free because it untaps mana creatures. So we get to go ahead and do that. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and just Sleight of Hand again here. Dig for the Ascendancy. And I'm going to go ahead and play this so it can be into play with not summoning sick. We're just hoping we don't get Titaned this turn, because if we get Titaned, we're dead and we'll concede. See you know forever. Are you familiar with Esper Acuity? If not, I'll submit my Jinky list. I have seen some people play that in Best of One. It seems really interesting. Karn, the Great Creator, sure. Yep. So you have 5 mana here. You get potentially 3+ shots and Ascendancy next turn. I might Manamorphose a little aggressively just to try and find it. Because, like, if they get a turn with this Karn, they're probably going to lattice us out of the game. Sure. I assume this could get Walking Ballista too here. But they don't have any more land drops for the turn, so they can only play a 1 mana thing here. They have 1 floating. So what are we getting? Pithing Needle. That turns off Fatestitcher, right? But the fact that I have 2 mana creatures in play makes that less important. Birds of Paradise. You're going to be very sad, friendo. So this explicitly does not stop mana abilities. Hey, look, we drew Time Walk. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Sylvan Caryatid here. Yeah, I am going to attack Karn for 1. Do I want to silence them proactively here? I mean, like, do I, like, so... I mean, I guess I could reasonably get Titaned. But, like, they didn't have Titan last turn, right? So they have to draw it, and they need a bounce land? No, definitely not Blitz Legend. That sounds really tedious. They could bridge. I can kill them through a bridge. Like, bridge doesn't matter. Oh, that's true. I can respond to the bounce land with silence. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I should have attacked Karn with the bird to give them the delusion that this is actually doing something. Because this would get the Exalted trigger too, right? Yeah, that one doesn't matter. If they minus the Karn, I would say if they minus the Karn, I might silence them because I really don't want to get Walking Ballista'd. We won the first match 2-0 and we're up a game in this match. We're just waiting on a Glittering Wisher and Ascendancy here. Fatestitcher. Well, that's the one. That's the one they should have named with this. Because this is not a mana ability. Correct. Yeah, they can't lattice us while he's at 2 loyalty. That is correct. Check out some of our options here. Again, ending up in a position where we can kill them next turn. I'm going to go ahead and attack with this. Gnome, thank you for the 12 months of support, by the way. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. I think I'm going to wait on the silence again here. So, I'm not going to proactively silence them because post-board, my opponent's deck has both counterspells and ways to interact with enchantments at instant speed. So, ideally, I want to use this on my turn to protect my combo. Alright, I think this is likely to get a Walking Ballista. But I think that's fine, right? Like, what could they get here that I really care about? Jeskai Ascendancy plus cantrips alongside creatures that make mana allow you to chain through most of your deck. Yeah, like, if they get Walking Ballista and shoot both of these, I, like, don't really care. Trinisphere. Trinisphere would... do I care about Trinisphere? Yeah, Fatestitcher can tap Trinisphere, and I have 3 mana dorks. I think I just let this go. Because there's an Ascendancy on top of my deck. Yeah, you have a Worm Coil. Go for it. Now, this could be bait. If they have a Titan in their hand, I could die. The problem here is if they have a naturalize effect, I could be in trouble. Yeah, they can't cast Summoner's Pact, and they bounce their Growth Chamber, so like they don't have so like Nature's Claim or some type of disenchant is the only thing I'm worried about at this point. Yeah, I technically have a wish for a second JAC. That is also correct. So, when you think your opponent might be able to kill your Ascendancy, and you have instant speed cards and non-instant speed cards, you want to use your non-instant speed cards first. So this way, if they like kill my Ascendancy in response, I get to Summoner's Pact to get that extra loot and untap in to give myself additional mana. Alright, easy 2040. Raced Tron, raced Amulet Titan. I actually think this deck has both good Tron and Amulet Titan matchups. The style of fast combo deck tends to be good against those slightly slower decks. Join the Discord. Details on how to link up your Discord account is here with your Twitch account. The important detail is that you need to be on a desktop computer to link your Discord account. You cannot join the server from the mobile app. Morning, Suna. Blue-white control is hard, but not impossible. In fact, I would actually like to play against blue-white control. Because I would like to test out these Teferis. In fact, I think there's a good chance that, like, Teferi is just better than Silence, potentially. But the flip side of that is the Silences in matchups like the two we just played are relevant. So maybe the split is correct. Are there stats for who watches on desktop versus mobile? I think so. Analytics. I don't know. I think it's somewhere, but I don't have it offhand. Hey, Hippity, good morning. We're 2040 to start, Hippity. The burn matchup's bad. We have a hard time against Eidolon. Burn, followed by decks with 1 mana discard spells are the two hardest matchups. Morning, Dude Light. Yeah, Death Shadow, and Burn. Those are the two that you want to avoid. Death Shadow's been having a rough go of it in Modern lately, though. This hand is again fine. Turn 1, Breeding Pool, Birds of Paradise, has some cantrips. We technically have a slow Ascendancy here with Glittering Wish. Do people still play Eidolon? Like Eidolon of the Rhetoric? Or Great Revel? Glittering Wish for Teferi sounds like an emo kid band. It's got Hadisha. Yeah, I agree that Blue-White's a fan favorite, and it's really good against Shadow. Am I a foils guy? Not really. I like full art stuff. But foils and paper tend to like warp and bend, which is not ideal for tournament play. Alright, so I think I do this and just get Ascendancy and play a tapped land. Maybe there's a possibility here that I'm supposed to cast a cantrip this turn. Oh no, am I getting Judge's Familiar? No, that's fine. That one doesn't matter. Yeah, they're probabilistically dead next turn if they don't interact with me. If they have like a path to exile for this Birds of Paradise, though, I'm gonna wish I cast a cantrip to dig for a red source. Is the thing though. If they have a Thalia, I'm gonna wish I went looking for a land last turn too. Like, but they didn't cast a Thalia with 2 mana, so it seems unlikely for them to have that card. And here we go. Poor Hinterland Harbor. Yikes. All right, if they have another path, we could be in trouble. Now we're going to struggle a little bit. Now we're going to struggle a little bit. I have the Fatestitcher. I mean, like, if they did it during my upkeep, I wouldn't have cast a Pact. So, like, right now, the fact that I've cast a Pact is kind of a big deal. So we're looking for Fatestitchers and Cerulean Wisps at this point. Also, Engineered Explosives and Summoner's Pact. As much as I want extra mana, I can't currently use this to make extra mana until I get a second mana, so I think I need to bottom this aggressively here. Digging for something that kicks me up from. Oh, that's true. I haven't played a land yet. That is a great thing to point out. Ooh, this land doesn't cast Glittering Wish, though. Yikes. All right, that's a Sleight of Hand. All right, I think I'm pushing towards all in this turn. Because this lets me untap this. And then I can shock this in, which means I can now Glittering Wish. This also means Manamorphose is live. Sweet. So Manamorphose kicks my mana up. So I got to 2 mana, and then Manamorphose takes me to 3. Ooh, Manamorphose also gets me Verdant Eidolon back. That's so good. Forgot about that. Thank you, Moto, for the reminder. Still, ideally looking for another Fatestitcher here or more ways to jump our mana up. Abundant Growth is sweet. Cerulean Wisp is a way to jump my mana up. So we are moving towards having them probabilistically dead. It's always a good place to be. That is another free piece of mana, essentially. Oh no! Oh no! Wow, that's a pretty big mistake. I just clicked through that. Yikes! Yikes! Hey, that's fine. I like to play on a challenge. It's like playing on hard mode. So I missed tapping, using this in response to the Cerulean Wisps because I was talking and clicking and reading chat. It's been a hot second since we've played this. No, I'll tap the Vial tracks. I can also just kill them with Flesh Blood, but we can tap the Vial with Fatestitcher, and then we can tap a blocker with Fatestitcher. Alright, and we have 2 Engineered Explosives here, so those both give us a free piece of mana, because we cast this for 0, which then triggers the Jeskai Ascendancy. They're just putting the Dire Fleet into place so they can start auto. What a combo deck! What a combo! I didn't realize my opponent was also playing a combo deck. It's pretty neat. This combo is incredibly slow to click through. Alright, Cerulean Wisps. So let's not mess this one up this time. Is this harder or easier to play in paper? Yes. It's harder in some ways and easier in others. There's certain things that get automatically tracked for you online that are nice in paper. Look at that. I did the thing and I didn't forget about it. Now this untaps, we get to draw a card. Then I can do this. Then we cast Blood. Choose a creature you control to deal damage. Choose an opponent. Morning, Hobart. So, technically, I could kill them without attacking. So, Flesh Blood is basically a fling that doesn't make you sacrifice for standard players and people who are new. So, you can kill them without ever attacking, but it would require a lot more clicks here to, like, get through to that point. So, I'm just going to go ahead and kill them. So, I mentioned earlier, when we were sideboarding, you kind of have a couple different packages, depending on what kind of hate cards you expect out of your opponent. And in this particular case, this opponent looks like they have a lot of creature-based disruption, which means our cards like Engineered Explosives are meaningful interaction, because they likely have things like Thalia or Leonin Arbiter or Meddling Mage or stuff like that that we might want to interact with. I think that probably means I want Assassin's Trophy and Path to Exile as well for taking permanent-based hate off of the table. Sometimes the opponent will have things like Damping Sphere as well. Usually, Opt is the first cantrip that I get rid of when I trim. Unless I'm certain that my opponent's going to have a bunch of hate cards I need to get rid of. I don't usually board in the last one of these. It's like, I can technically board all these in because I still have, like, Knight and Teferi in the sideboard to, like, interact with hate cards. But I think 4 is good in general. A lot of the time, the best answer to their hate cards is just, like, killing them before they can be relevant. Pretty easy mulligan here. This is unfortunately not Hearthstone, so we need lands to play. This hand is more than good. It's great. This is actually pretty close to the Stone Cold Nuts here. It's turn 1. Turn 1 Dork, turn 2 Jeskai Ascendancy. So my opponent's deck almost certainly has the card Leonin Arbiter in it. So I'm going to actually use my fetch land on turn 1 here, because Leonin Arbiter, for those not familiar, is a card that stops people from searching their library. So I want to use my lands that require me to search my library ASAP so I don't get locked out of them. This deck can combo through Athalia. Hey, look, they played Leonin Arbiter. So, if I wanted to be super bold here, I could try and combo them this turn. I could play Ascendancy, cast Summoner's Pact, but I'm pretty likely to brick, and if I brick, I lose the game because of the Summoner's Pact. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and pass the turn here since I drew another Mana Dork. My probability of successfully comboing goes up dramatically when I have 2 Mana Dorks in play while I combo. So I'm going to go ahead and play out my second Dork here and just, like, wait to combo next turn. I had gone for it. You're a psychopath. I think without having a 1-mana cantrip in my hand, it's not correct, Tippity. I think even if I felt like I, like, needed to, like, because they had some kind of pressure or disruption coming, I think it's not quite worth it. Yeah, the fact that, like, they're not going to randomly turn 3 me here, and whatever disruption they can play, I can likely play through, I think means I'm supposed to play this and wait. You can cast the Hierarch if you fail. That's an interesting thought. That is an interesting thought. My opponent really doesn't like the idea of Ghost Quartering us, huh? They could have, like, a Disenchant here. So, as always, when you think your opponent might be able to kill your Ascendancy, you should always lead on your sorcery speed cards. So this way, if they disenchant my Ascendancy in response, I can cast my instant speed spells to get more draws with it. They might just have a Path to Exile here and be debating whether or not they're supposed to go after my stuff. Yeah, sure, you've killed my land. It's dead, Jim. Yep. Alright, so now, in response to that, and this is again why I let on the sorcery speed one, so I can Summoner's Pact in response. My longest sub streak to any streamer. Thanks for consistently great content. Thanks for the 5 months, Madman. I really appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me around. So, we're casting the Summoner's Pact here, because we're going for it. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I forgot about Leonin Arbiter. Oh no! Oh no! It's fine. It's fine. We still made mana. Chat typed it. I just thought they meant for Path to Exile. Listen, I don't know how these cards work. How many times have I gotten got by this card? How many times have I gotten got by this card? Come on now. Anybody who's not new to this channel knew exactly where that was going. Stingray! Thanks for the tier 2 resub. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And Notor Use, thank you for the 3-month resub. We're gonna like brick off here. I have plenty of mana, which definitely means I should have paid to go get my Eidolon. When your worst fear is in play. Alright, so, I think I'm actually supposed to play this and pay for the Pact now. Because, like, Fatestitcher would be awesome here. It gives me more mana. But, like, it doesn't really accomplish anything for me because I don't have enough cards. Because I forgot to get a card with this last time. I still have copious amounts of mana here. It's, like, probably not going to brick on that. So I only get 2 looks here, so we could brick off and die, because I'm an idiot. Hey, look at that. We bricked off and died, because I'm an idiot. Twitch Prime does not get points towards the deck. Tier 2 and Tier 3 do. Twitch Prime and Tier 1 subs get to submit decks for cheaper amounts. You can find all the details on how the deck submission process works here on my website. Look at that. We messed up and then we died. Weird. No, Leon and Arbiter has like been the death of me more than any other card due to Moto interface. I'm not interested in surviving Hippity. I'm interested in winning the game. I got nothing at that point. Let's just move on with our lives. You're bound to drop a game eventually. Might as well be to me being an idiot. Would you mulligan this, Hippity? My gut says this is a mulligan. Mana creatures are pretty important to have ASAP in this matchup. And, like, this hand needs both mana creatures and lands. So I think even with the Sleight of Hands, it's probably not good enough. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. I don't know. I think it needs a little bit too much. I need to, like, find land or mana dork and then, like, draw land or mana dork. I guess I have Sleight of Hand again next turn to make that a little bit better. Hey, Justin, good to see ya. Hope life's been treating you well. Yeah, I'm like, here's the fear, right? Like, I just have this happen and not like I'm kind of up a creek without a paddle. Like, if I miss on land and mana dork with this first one, I'm in a lot of trouble. And part of the problem too is, like, any mana dorks that okay, that's good. So let's shock this in. And now let's fight Noble Hierarch or Bird of Paradise here. Huh. I think I'm bottoming Eidolon. We might get set up to turn 3 them here. Or turn 4 them here. We'll put Ascendancy into play next turn. And then use the Fatestitcher to combo on 4. Trying to avoid getting Thaliad here. Yeah. Good chance we're dead. Need to hit like a 1 mana dork on this. Even then, gonna be tight. I don't know that I like burning engineered explosives here. I think I'd rather just, like, set up to try and kill them. Yeah, I think you undervalued having a mana dork in the opener, Hippity. Okay, I think I should have mulliganed this opener. A handful of cantrips against the Thalia deck is like kind of loose. Bird of Paradise is probably one card too late. So I'm taking 4 down to 7. Next turn I can go Bird, Wisps it, draw the land, play the land. So the problem, Nivik, is it's not just a computation of like how likely you to hit a mana creature. There's also the calculation of how likely are you to find lands to go along with it. Because his opening hand wasn't just looking for mana creatures, looking for mana creatures plus lands. We are probabilistically dead here. I would bet they have another Thalia in their hand. Hopefully they just have a bunch of 3 and 4 mana spells they can't cast, but like if they have another Thalia here, we're dead. Because I'm not gonna die inside of combat, but I'm not gonna be able to kill them next turn if they have another Thalia. If they don't have another Thalia or Disruption here, and I don't die inside of combat this turn, next turn I can go Ascendancy, Manamorphose, bin the Fatestitcher, and then like combo from there. If they don't have a Path to Exile too, but like that second Thalia or a Path, I'm likely dead here. The opponent's playing red-white fair stuff. Hate bears, taxes, depends on what you want to call it. So, punted game 2 pretty badly. Kept a bad hand this game. Yeah, I think second Thalia here was pretty likely to happen. Alright, cast Time Walk. This gets to trade with Dryad Militant here as well, which is sweet. A lot of our plays here are just like have to assume the opponent has nothing, so we just can't beat anything. We're 2-0 in this league, but it looks like we're about to be 2-1. Like I said, I think we're on the hope they have nothing planned. I'm going to cast this. Hope they don't put a 3-drop into play here, and then I get to untap and play Ascendancy and do stuff, but that's pretty unlikely. I mean, New Sea Healy wouldn't really do anything here. It's too much mana to Glittering Wish for. Hey, the Even One, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, and again, like, I wouldn't even... One of the things you're doing there, Trusty, is... I think this is something players do a lot. Instead of looking at their plays and being critical about the mistakes that they made, they adjust their deck list to try and fix the deck to accommodate playing poorly. In reality, I should have mulliganed my opening hand there, and then I misclicked in the second game. So like, I'm not even in a spot like that where I'm like in a poor position if I don't play poorly to begin with. So, like, Saheeli might be okay in certain situations, but I don't think that situation that I was in there is a good example of one, because I was only in that spot because I messed up. And the solution generally to messing up is not change my deck list to try and accommodate for me messing up in the future. It's don't mess up in the future. Couldn't grab and play Tef. Tef costs 4 mana with Thalia in play. They're going all right. We beat a couple of big mana decks. I just threw against Taxes. Leonin Arbiter is a mostly unplayable Magic card, so I always lose to it because I've said too many mean things about Leonin Arbiter for it to ever let me beat it. I think you should play better. Yep. Nice, dude. Light. What are your thoughts on the glasses? I think they're good. I actually reached out to my my partner, my sponsorship partner, to get things set up. So we'll have a referral code and brand link for them probably by the end of the week. Ascendancy was one of our best draws there. If we didn't draw the Ascendancy there, I would have cast Glittering Wish to get an Ascendancy and then cast a cantrip to find a 4th land. Gah! These walking ballistas out of Tron have been brutal. Those are unfortunately moto-only Tron lands, which is a shame because they're beautiful. That beautiful. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Looking for Fatestitchers and mana creatures. The land's actually pretty good here. Huh? They have natural Tron card next turn. We're going to be in trouble. I've been watching Banteldrazi's on YouTube, and I'm thinking about building it. Do you think it can hang in the current Modern metagame? I think it checks all the boxes you want to check in Modern. I think it's a very reasonably powerful and proactive deck that's running people down and has a little bit of interaction from people that faster than you. I also think the addition of Prismatic Vista from the new set's probably going to be pretty good for it. I think there's a chance we end up playing There's a chance we end up playing some of that on Friday. Again, as something I've been making sure to try and plug is that Friday is going to be an all modern, all day stream. So if you are a non-rotating format aficionado, be sure to tune in for that. I think I'm supposed to Manamorphose plus Assassin's Trophy them here. Keep them off of Tron next turn. I have Verdant Eidolon, so it basically has a draw attached to it. I think Rock's actually at the top of the queue. So we should be playing Rock on Friday. Or put a couple of the black-green land in there. So, like, we've got a piece of disruption here. And I actually have another trophy next turn off this Glittering Wish, but I'm actually not anywhere near comboing them myself, which is awkward. Sounds good, Seth. If we hit a Fatestitcher next turn, we're pretty likely to combo off. If we miss on Fatestitcher, we get to trophy them again, so like we're not just dead. More Notary. If Friday goes reasonably in terms of numbers in the YouTube videos get okay amount of views, I'm probably gonna do one modern only day every week between now and when the next set releases in July on Arena. Get a little bit of variety in. So I drew Caryatid, but they played Oblivion Stone. Hey, Jiffafish, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. So I need to kill Oblivion Stone. The question is, how am I killing it? Yeah, I could wish for Night. I could also just Explosives for 3. Oh, EE on 3 is bad. Good call. Good call. Look at that. I was testing you, chat. I knew that. I tested you and you passed. Good job. A plus. Hey, Devin, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I don't think I like bouncing it with Tef, because it's like a temporary solution to a permanent problem. Like, I'm not super likely to kill them next turn, which means I'm just, like, back in the same position again next turn if they recast it. And unfortunately, it took me so long to find a Mana Dork that, like, I'm having to, like, keep interacting with them every turn now, which isn't giving me a window to play a Mana Dork. Yeah, if I could put a Mana Dork into play this turn, bouncing it seems fine. Now they're just gonna, like, play their 3rd Tron piece in Karnas and we'll be really sad, but it is what it is. Dead to Ugin. Never not dead to Ugin. Just play a Worm Coil. Read. How about if I Glittering Wish and play Ascendancy, and then that pumps the Night of Autumn when I cast a spell, and the Night of Autumn serves into Karn? I think that's the line. I've not had anybody submit blue-white control for Friday, no. But Modern Horizons will be up on Friday, and that's why we're doing Moto all day. Yeah, I think I do this, get this, and then I'm gonna cast this. And then I think I want to go get a mana dork here. I think I'm going to go get a Noble Hierarch and put it into play. And just like hope they can't kill my board again next turn. Or get Birds of Paradise, sorry. Doesn't really matter. You guys hope to like not get Karn Ulamogd again here. I don't know what blue-black pitch looks like, Justin. Is that like the same deck we played? That's probably fine. For reference, I don't think the black pitch card is very good. The black force is not great. Ooh, we're gonna lose our Eidolon here. Tilt. It's probably not that big of a deal. I have a lot of cards. I could have discarded this Temple Garden though to maybe play around this. I don't know if they don't interact with if they don't interact with my board this turn, they just like play a Worm Coil or something. Like we have a pretty good chance to kill them next turn. Yeah, I agree. Force spread does not seem particularly good. The green force and the blue force are great. Did Cool Stuff Inc. publish my article yet? They've not. I'll probably go up today or tomorrow. Yeah, that's a tough nut to crack. Verdant Eidolon, right? That's what this card's called? Yeah, Verdant Eidolon. So I have to pay for Summoner's Pact. So I'm through 2 Ascendancies. There's 32 cards left in my deck. Do I have any lands left in my deck? I do, in fact, still have a basic island. So generally speaking, thinning is statistically significant. But this deck draws so many cards when it combos that the thinning is significant even from just fetch lands. Because you're going to see most of your deck when you're combo. Yeah, so I've got 2 Ascendancies, 2 Fatestitchers. Glittering Wish is not an Ascendancy because I already pulled the one out of the sideboard. Worth noting that using this fetch lands here, though, does put me into a 2-turn clock on here, which is not irrelevant. This has been a really weird game. We've both interacted a lot, for all things considered. Go ahead and cast this Caryatid, because I'm more likely to win the game with 2 mana creatures in play. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the turn here. Just like they didn't have an Oblivion Stone last turn. They might not have an Oblivion Stone this turn. Gotta hope to fade some draws here. And we're dead. Alright, easy sideboarding against Tron. Explosives out. Copies of Silence in. Click submit. If you're looking for a casual focused ramp deck in Modern, and you don't want to play Tron or like Scapeshift Titan, I would recommend looking into the mono green devotion decks. They do really big plays, but they tend to not be quite consistent enough to be completely competitive. So, trophy's fine in some situations, Beefcake. The thing you need to understand about playing a deck like this that has Glittering Wish in it is that we still have access to all of these multicolored cards in our sideboard, which means basically I can still get trophy when getting trophy is good, but when getting trophy isn't good, I can just, not have it in my deck to draw. Let's bump up Bantel Draw Z. Sounds good, Mo. I appreciate the support. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. I don't know that I describe Elves as a ramp deck, Justin. I think Elves is more of an aggro deck than anything. So we're hoping to draw a land or a 0 mana spell next turn so we can start comboing them. Listen, Grixis is a fan favorite, Pope. I assume this is dying. Like, yeah. They kept... Whenever Tron... Whenever Tron keeps a really slow hand like this, it almost always means that they have some of their sideboard interaction. Perfect. So I'm going to grab this. And I'm actually not going to cast these this turn, because I want as many spells as possible to cast after I put this into play. Morning, Smiley. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, if we get claimed again here, we'll be a little bit sad. Is what it is. I'm going to discard the Verdant Eidolon to start here because I want to try and goad my opponent into using this Relic of Progenitus when I try and pick this up, as opposed to losing my Fatestitcher. Way things are set up right now, I think the Fatestitcher is more important than having extra cards. So we'll cast this, which will trigger the Verdant Eidolon, which might elicit a Relic of Progenitus popping. Which it did. Now I get to loot and discard Fatestitcher. Let's go ahead and put Fatestitcher into play here. So we could theoretically brick off here. Actually, am I supposed to Summoner's Pact to thin the deck? I'm probably supposed to Summoner's Pact to thin the deck, right? Because, like, we're killing him this turn or we're losing, so... And again, while thinning a single card out often isn't relevant, it becomes statistically significant in a deck like this, where you're seeing a majority of the cards in your deck. Yeah, I played this one a lot. It's mostly just me, like, dorking around, because it just doesn't matter. It's like, we have copious amounts of mana at this point. I actually want to diddle this Ghost Quarter here at this point, because I have so much mana. Because if I don't diddle the Ghost Quarter, they can Ghost Quarter the land I try to Abundant Growth, which would be a little bit annoying. That's true. That's true. This maybe gets them to start auto passing, which would be nice. Do we want to be Hearthstone? That's a joke, dude. Light. I wouldn't mind if Magic moved closer to Hearthstone in, like, the terms of the amount of variance it has. Because, like, Magic has way more variance than Hearthstone could ever dream of having. So we're pretty close. We're pretty close to deterministic at this point. Mostly going through the motions. The second Ascendancy means, like, I'm pretty unlikely to brick off. I have to cast a few more spells for this to be lethal on its own. So I missed making some mana there, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to cast Glittering Wish, which gets Flesh Blood, which is lethal. So I can be done looting here. For people who are playing this deck on Magic Online, the numbers 3 and 4 on your keyboard allow you to say no to things without having to click on it. So you'll notice my mouse is nowhere near the buttons and I'm selecting no. This is the way we kill the Tron, kill the Tron, kill the Tron. This is the way we kill the Tron so early in the morning. Alas, I don't think we're going to get to the 5th match in this league. I'm going to play the last game here, but we're already about 10 minutes past when I usually let to like modern run through, so we're going to play this 3rd game here against Tron, and then we'll mosey on over to some standard. This hand's just not good enough. Not only does it not have a 1-mana dork, and it only has 1 land, but it has the Gemstone Mine as its only land, and it doesn't have a fast Ascendancy, and Glittering Wish fetching Ascendancy is often slow against Tron, so I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this. This seems like okay. It's got a turn 1 dork, and it's got a slow Ascendancy, which, again, this is not particularly great here, but it is what we got to work with. Dying to Ballista, yep. Walking Ballista is such a heinous card. Just like, if that card in 4-mana Tron couldn't get Ancient Stirrings banned, like, that card's never going away. Good news. They only have 1 Tron piece. And we drew another dork. This flipping game, man. What kind of psychopath plays 2 Walking Ballistas in their Tron deck? Who, I tell you, what kind of mad person? Hey, Moriarty, thank you for the 5-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. I'm not going to concede to this, but I'm going to concede to their next big payoff next turn. Have a good work day, Moriarty. Thanks for keeping me around. He's blue, da ba dee da ba die, da ba dee da ba die, da ba dee da ba die. Hi. Blew his house with a blue little window. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. This oh. Take a chance on me. Do 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 do. Gonna concede to a Karner and Ulamog. Ugin to... Hey, maybe they have Stone Cold Nothing, chat. They only have one card left in their deck. I mean, it's not like my opponent's playing a 48 card deck that plays 4 copies of Demonic Tutor. Like, if they were playing a 48 card deck with 4 copies of Demonic Tutor, there'd be no way they could lose from here, but like, thankfully that's not legal in Modern, so... Thankfully you're not allowed to play a 48 card deck with 4 copies of Demonic Tutor. So we have a chance, maybe. I can taste that comment through the screen. Tron is so offensive. Just Tron things. This is actually going to be a chapter in the preface to my 26 lands later book of 16 lands later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've had 7 lands and 15 cards in our 16 land deck. Oh wait, there's a land over here too. So we have 8 lands and 15 cards. So I'm actually not going to crack this, because it takes a turn off their clock, so... Oh, look, they cast Demonic Tutor. Oh, just a relic. Okay. Lucky, lucky, lucky. I'm actually really fortunate they didn't have a... We're really fortunate they didn't have a Blast Zone in their deck, because if their Sylvan Scrying could have gotten a Blast Zone, we'd have been in a bad spot. Like, more than the mostly unwinnable spot we're in now. It's a Moto exclusive Ancient Stirrings art. And unfortunately here, they have this Ghost Quarter to Ghost Quarter me in response to this Abundant Growth, but I do still get to draw and discard a card, so I'm going to go ahead and cast it here. So again, I didn't crack the fetch land there, even though there were things in my deck that it could go get, because cracking that fetch land would result in this Thought-Knot Seer killing me 1 turn sooner. I'd like to avoid dying to that. Big fan of living. Yeah, of course. We went through a phase where we tried every terrible deck that exists in Modern on this channel, Seth. It's not a phase, Mom. This is who I am. Oh, let's stand up for a bit. They had Spatial Contortion as one of the cards in their hand. Lol. We're still drawing lands because Magic is an incredibly low variance game where the player who makes fewer mistakes frequently wins. To be fair, the opponent is also not running particularly hot, so we got that going for us. Sylvan Caryatid, please. Sylvan Caryatid, please. Sylvan Caryatid, please. These relics actually sit here and cut us off of Fatestitchers, which is awkward. I mean, that's technically a Sylvan Caryatid, right? All right, so we're gonna have no mana starting next turn, but I've got this Sleight of Hand and a Dream, a chip and a chair, if you would. So if my opponent draws one more brick, and we draw the most absurd string of draws possible, we could potentially win this game of Magic the Gathering. I believe, I believe, I believe. I believe in a thing called love. No, the only discards from playing spells, Limb Nursery. Also, the way Unearth works, they can pop the Relic in response. This is an Oblivion Stone. Nope. Alright. Alright, chat. Fire up the race car engines. How lucky are we? Pass the turn. Pass the turn. The tricky part here is I have to pay for this Pact, which means I'm choked on mana. So, like, I'm choked on mana and I'm choked on cards, which is, like, generally speaking, not a good scene for this deck. Yeah, we need, like, Wisps into Manamorphose, for sure. We are incredibly unlikely to win the game from here. So, I have to take Summoner's Pact. And I have to hope Summoner's Pact draws me a card. I have to hope Summoner's Pact draws me a card that's a one or two mana cantrip. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! I floated the wrong color of mana, chat! Oh no! Oh no! No! Alright, so we discard. I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. We go get a thing. We cast Silence, and we hope to draw Manamorphose here. Really? Really? Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, we are very dead now. Do do do. Do 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 do. We can block the seer. Go. It's now your turn. Oh, we are very dead now. I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. And I cast the Summoner's Pact, so I have to pay 4 mana for Summoner's. Please just draw an Ugin and put me out of my misery. Draw a good card, opponent. Kill me. Kill me. Put me out of my misery. They're going for it. They're going for it. Kill me. It'll be a mercy killing, I swear. Nature's Claim. Ugh. Oh, that technically means I get another turn. Oh, it technically means I get another turn. I'm not, listen, Hippity. They're gonna extract the final breath from my body, okay? Don't you take this away from me. This is my moto given right to make them put me to 0. Our opponent was so unlucky this game. I don't think I've ever seen Tron brick for as long as they bricked. You know what's awesome about this draw step? This draw step means I can kill them next turn. It means I can block the Sylvan Caryatid, draw cantrip into Fatestitcher, and then combo from there. What's also sad, if this just hadn't been another flipping land. How many lands have we had this game? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are only 5 lands left in the 28 cards in my deck. All right, give me Poppy. Poppy needs a cantrip into a Fatestitcher. Poppy needs a cantrip into a Fatestitcher. Technically not dead yet. I can block, and then next turn we can put it back into play and combo from there. That being said, they probably have a spatial contortion, so I assume we're dead here. I assume we're dead here, but I just like, we're just like hanging on for dear life. You just like rip a Ugin and kill me already? It'll be a mercy killing, I swear. Oh no, not the redraws. The suspense is terrible. Okie doke. What even is this game? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is the part where we draw one of the 5 lands left in our deck. Just curl up in a little ball and cry. Oh, no. Oh, is there... We already got the one out of our sideboard, didn't we? We already got the one out of the sideboard. Yikes. Yikes. All right. Time to Assassin's Trophy this Thought-Knot Seer. Time to Assassin's Trophy this Thought-Knot Seer. Pew pew! This draws us a card? Gosh, we're so good at this. We're so good at this. There is 1 Jeskai Ascendancy left in our deck in 26 cards. This is match 4. We're not playing match 5. We've bled too much time. So this is gonna be the last game. Ah! Magic! Why magic? Deja vu. I feel like I've been here before. Glittering Wish. Jeskai Ascendancy. Glittering Wish. Jeskai Ascendancy. Yo, dog, I heard you like redraws, so we got you some redraws for your redraws. Hey, Harrison, thanks for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a phenomenal... Whoa! Whoa! The lat lagged on me. I'm glad I didn't draw anything meaningful there. The other part of the thing is, I'm actually down to 5 minutes on my clock, so I think even if we hit the Ascendancy, I might not actually be able to combo under the time restraint that I'm on. I'm pretty sure we're gonna lose, but this match has definitely been what you could call good television. Mike Golia, thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate the quarter of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. How many Glittering Wishes are left in my deck? 1, 2. There's 1 Glittering Wish that can kill this Thought-Knot Seer. Holy crap! There's cards that cost 7 mana left in their deck. GG. figured that out. I'm actually not certain who was unluckier there, because, like, we drew a lot of our 16 lands, but, like, my opponent just, like, failed to draw a card for, like, basically an eternity. Which is truly true. Tron player was way unlucky. That's probably the truth. That's probably the truth. Unfortunately, and this is just the reality of, like, playing random games on Magic Online, I put 2 Teferi Time Ravelers on the sideboard. I'm pretty confident this card's a good addition, but we didn't get to play any matches where this card got to come in, so I don't really have a good takeaway for it. So